Remember, remember, it's time for Movember. But let's not forget why we grow the tash, because it's more than just donating some cash. We do it to raise awareness on the health of men and to stop lads dying prematurely again and again. So let's look at the facts on why this is so key and is more than just a beard, tash or goatee. 75% of suicides are from your fellow man, and it's at the highest peak since records began. A harrowing stat is that 60 men die every hour, so let's empower men instead of leaving them to cower alone with their thoughts. 1 in 6 of us will get prostate cancer, so if you're over 40, go to the doctor to get an answer. Don't ignore the signs for all these things, because you could be one of the men that die every 16 minutes. Testicular cancer is the most common for men between 25 and 49, so don't just think it'll all be fine and put up your walls. For God's sake, go and check your balls. So bearing all this in mind, let's come together and better mankind. Here's some things that will help guys, but I'm not sure any of this will come as a surprise. Surround yourself with people who will make you feel good, whether that's with family, workmates or friends from childhood. We need to break the stigma and talk more, not ignore or make it a chore when a lad is reaching out, because it's a slippery slope into silence and self-doubt. Please do your research into all this and gain knowledge, because it's rarely touched upon in school or college. And finally, please do constant checks so you catch things early. Better than doing that than losing your life, surely. But it's not all doom and gloom, because men are opening up, being given more help than before. And there are so many amazing initiatives and organisations putting help into mainstream circulation. Make it easier for men to get the help they need, but more still needs to be done to succeed. So don't forget, while you're growing your mo, make sure you check on a bro and help Movember by donating below.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Podnuts Pro. I am your host, Marvin B. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for either watching or listening to this episode. One of the things that really makes this go is the fact that I've got listeners who are loyal, who come back, find value, and help us continue doing what we do. So just to get us started off, I'm going to go ahead and acknowledge the gentleman that is with me, Corey Fruitman, from Instant House Call. You know him, you love him. Corey, how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. Thanks for having me.
All right, and you are way into the flow.
I am bearded up.
You are bearded up. Great, great. All right, we will get to talking about that in just a minute, but I do want to go ahead. Normally, I save this place for announcements and a news story, but I basically want to say to everyone, this is being aired and recorded the Friday before our election day. So I want to remind everybody to go out and vote. I've already voted. I vote early every election. So if you haven't done so, remember to please go vote. This is very important. I don't care what political affiliation you have. I don't care about your religion. I don't care about your issues. The only thing I care about is the fact that we are the greatest and most free country in the world. Men and women literally have fought and died for our right to be free. So, you know, I don't really do a lot of the stuff on Facebook. I don't get involved with the rhetoric, and you will never, and I mean ever, know who I vote for, but you do know that I vote. So I encourage you guys to all go out and do the same. So get that PSA out of the way. All right. So let us go ahead and do a transition here. Corey, let me first ask, how are things, man? It's been a while. Obviously, you didn't have that the last time I saw you.
No, I've been growing this out. My wife hates it. And pretty much I've got for those who are just listening and don't see the video, I've got kind of the homeless beard thing going on. And as of tonight, it's going to be going away. We're going to be getting into why that is probably in a couple of minutes. But right now, I've got the big homeless beard going. Yeah, it's big, it's itchy, and getting pretty gray in the bottom here. But
it
all good.
Like one of those. It looks like one of those distinguished, just enough shape to it. It's got just enough gray to it so that people are like, "Well, this guy knows what he's talking about. Better pay attention."
Very nice of you to say. Thank you.
Okay. Well, as most people know, you are the owner of Instant House Call. A lot of people in the community use your product. We talk about your product a lot. I use another product, although I've tried it a couple of times just to see. But my RMM does everything that I need. So, but for people that don't have a full-blown RMM PSA system, Instant House Call is a great product if you need to provide remote access and remote support to your clients. Mike Smith raves about it, so doing pretty good. Anything else? How's the rest of the life going? How is life up in Toronto? I haven't been there in a few years.
I mean, we're in full lockdown, so there's
Really?
not a whole lot going on here. We can't go to restaurants, can't go pretty much anywhere.
Really?
So
You're in Florida?
lots of walks in the park, lots of not much going on. What's stuff going on? What's stuff like there?
Well, let me rephrase that. So most of Florida is pretty relaxed. I think they're still officially in phase 2 where restaurants are at a certain percentage. South Florida is a little different. Our percentage is lower. I think it's 25% inside. There's outside dining. You can go in public if you wear a mask. There are still curfews in most of South Florida. But the bottom line is, this is Florida, home of Florida Man. And every other day, there's a story about somebody refusing to wear their mask and refusing to, stay safe, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah, we have outside dining too, but it's cold here, right? Like it's 0 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but it's cold. It's cold. It's freezing. Whatever freezing is, it's cold.
Isn't that 32 degrees Fahrenheit? 32
degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, it's cold.
So I hope that I never see 32 degrees where I'm at. When I moved back to the States, coming back from Germany, my dad was in the Air Force, and we moved back in '76 to Central Florida, basically Satellite Beach, which is south of Cape Canaveral. It snowed in 1976. I don't know how cold it was, but I do remember it snowed. So I'm now a couple of more hours south in Fort Lauderdale because I'm thinking I need to be south enough that it never, ever snows. So next time I come visit you, it'll be in the summer.
Fair enough.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and transition into our discussion today. For those of you that got to watch and see the video that we played before the show, remember Movember. I also have behind me my little green screen with the Movember.com, and that's what we're going to be talking about. So that's also why you grew your beard, Corey, right?
It is. Yep. I grew the beard just so I could shave it off. So Movember, for those of you who don't know, is the renamed month of November, has been renamed to Movember, and it's when men shave their faces clean and grow a mustache in order to raise funds and awareness for men's mental health, prostate health, and testicular cancer research and awareness. And it's a charity all around the world. And I think it got started in Australia and has moved all around the world and raises millions of dollars for research and awareness for men's health around the world.
All right. So I know some people are kind of listening to this, if they're not watching and thinking, okay, this is supposed to be a tech show. Why aren't we talking tech? And the reason is because these are the types of things that affect you regardless of what you do in life. And for people like myself and Corey who own businesses, obviously being men, our health is important to our business. And I think that this is a good thing. Now, Movember, most people will know that it started out as a cancer thing, but it's kind of added on some of the other stuff. And mental health and suicide are now a part of what should be remembered in Movember. And I can only say that there are times where it's tough. You know, being an entrepreneur, being a business owner, it's tough. And there's a lot of mental anguish that goes along with that. So you were going to start to say something?
Yeah, I was. And so, I mean, I've kind of got a horse in this race. Excuse me. So I've had my own run-in with depression. And I think some of the folks out there know that that's the case. And, it's taken a toll on my business. I wanted to share some of my experiences with it, and how my own experiences with mental health affected me and affected my business, and I've seen some of it out in the wild now. And now that I know sort of a little bit more about what to look for, and I see it with other entrepreneurs, and I realize how prevalent it is, and how it affects so many people. So I mean, just to throw out a couple of stats, on depression alone. And there's obviously, I think all of us know there's a million mental health issues out there, from schizophrenia to PTSD to bipolar disorder to a million other things. But depression alone, 7% of us are going to run into a major depressive episode at some point in our lives. That's a huge number. But then when you move over to entrepreneurs, that number goes up to 30%. That's a huge number. I mean, we're looking at almost 1 in 3. And I think if I had to take a wild guess, I think if we're looking at IT entrepreneurs, I'm willing to bet that number would be even higher.
Oh yeah. I mean, we ourselves, regardless of whether we own the business or not, being a tech is stressful because you've got to deal, it's not that it's like strenuous and grueling and tasking like a lot of physical labor things, but the mental side of it, making sure your customers are happy, making sure the server, is up all the time. And if it goes down and you've got to get it back up, that can be a mental taxation, and all the problems that come along with working on business networks. I'll just do this real quick, just to kind of, so one of my buddies posted on Facebook just this very morning, this post where he said, ISP replaced a modem at a client and didn't put it back in bridge mode, so the VPN isn't working. I requested the ISP account number and PIN number 6 hours ago from the client and still don't have it. I get a text that says, I expect to be working from home tomorrow. And so he writes in all caps, well, maybe get me the info I need to do the job instead of sending me condescending text. And then he basically says, sometimes I think I need a punching bag in the office to work off the stress, LOL. That's the type of stuff that, yes, we make fun about it a lot, and we obviously share stories. A lot of the times we share stories on this show, but having to deal with these things day after day, year after year can, have its toll.
Yeah, it chips away at you, and it's hard.
Yeah. So you had mentioned that, this is obviously your horse in the race. And I'll be honest, I know a little bit of your situation. We talked briefly, and, I didn't want to pry. It's not like we, hang out and have a beer all the time. So, I've kind of watched from afar, and obviously, we've had chats, and if you needed to talk, we've been able to talk. But let's go back first, that now you're here and able to talk about it. So obviously, you're at a certain point where you're comfortable. So what are some of the things that, looking back, helped you in that situation?
in order to get from being severely depressed to where I am today. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, the short answer there is drugs. Seeing the getting help. The short answer is getting help. I mean, it's very hard to take that first step and to realize that there's even something wrong, because a lot of the time, in particular in men, our symptoms are not particularly clear when it comes to depression. So, for example, I didn't know that I was depressed. I was like, I can tell you my first appointment with the psychiatrist, I remember distinctly saying to him, I don't feel depressed. I'm not sad. I'm not crying. I'm not upset in any way. Look at me. I'm laughing. I'm smiling. I'm cracking jokes. And I was cracking jokes through the entire appointment. I didn't feel the least bit depressed. But that's not how men typically express depression. And I was under the impression that it was. I thought that you had to be sad and crying and upset to be depressed. And so I think there's a fair bit of misunderstanding among people about what depression looks like and what depression feels like and what depression is. And so it threw me off. But anyway, the short answer to your question is, in order to get better, it was getting help. It was seeing a doctor and getting medication.
All right. So you said something at the beginning that I think hits home, or should hit home, with a lot of men, is that, the macho image that men don't get depressed. We've embraced the phrase that real men cry, where we've kind of accepted that, but real men don't show anything in between. We're either happy or we're sad. We're sensitive to our spouses, to women, to our partners. But in terms of showing, we don't do that. But there's also a part of knowing. A lot of times we don't know we're depressed, like you said, and there are obviously some symptoms that other people will notice, but in researching that, it could be a broad range. It could be, self-isolation. It could be irritability. There could be a lot of things. So when you said you didn't know, was it somebody that came to you and said, hey, buddy, what's wrong? Is that how you learned about it, or did you seek out the help yourself?
It was a combination of the two. So I knew something was wrong. I just didn't know what it was. So I knew something was up. I could feel it. I could feel that there was something wrong. And I was trying to sort of rationalize, why am I thinking this way? Why am I feeling what I'm feeling? But I couldn't quite put my finger on what was going on. And it, I can tell you, it definitely did not. I mean, I'm not the most macho guy in the world, so it didn't feel like machismo to me. I didn't feel like I was suppressing anything. I think a lot of it is, this is just how it manifests in men. I just think that that's just sort of, so you hit on a really critical point that is the irritability. Like, I was irritable as hell with everybody, and that's a really key symptom in men, is that they get super, super irritable and really, really agitated. And I was very, very, very irritable, and I couldn't figure out why everything was annoying me. So, like, the sound of somebody chewing their food next to me at the table was really annoying, or somebody typing next to me on their computer, that sound was really, really annoying. And I mean, I noticed that it was annoying, and I was wondering why it was annoying me so much, but I didn't really know why. So I knew something was wrong. Right. And then family would, and then, I mean, the ultimate sort of nudge was, someone said, look, I'm concerned about you, and I think you should go see a doctor. And so I did. But I don't even think that they knew that I was depressed, because it doesn't manifest. Like, when people see it from the outside, I don't think they might see it as as burnout or as stress or midlife crisis. I don't know really, but I think a lot of people don't recognize it as depression because
Right.
it doesn't seem like you're not crying, you're not sad. It doesn't seem like depression.
Right. And you are right. People don't see it that way because they think that there has to be something else. And, you know, sometimes there are situations where, as entrepreneurs, it's not going to manifest if you're having, say, a situation where you've got what they call an empty success. You know, you had a goal, you had a business plan, you get to the end, and it's not as satisfying as you thought it might be. There's that sort of stuff. But then, of course, the stress of working long hours, overworking, pushing too hard, those are things that are kind of accepted. You know, that's what entrepreneurs are supposed to do.
Right.
And then, of course, if you're tired and grumpy and irritable and, you know, oh, well, you know, once I hit this milestone, I can, you know, scale it back and everything will be fine. So you're correct in the sense that we miss a lot of those and we don't think of it as depression. So, all right. So this year you decided, now I should probably ask, have you done this before? Because I don't think you have.
Nope, I have not.
Okay, so this will be the first time that you are going to participate. And did you tell your wife you were going to be growing the beard?
I mean, I've always had a beard, just normally a very trim one.
Well, yeah, it's always like tight, but I'm like, you let it grow out. Did you talk to her first, or did she just say, why aren't you shaving?
Yeah, I don't remember if I told her or not. I think I just started doing it, and it just sort of kind of happened. I don't remember. I'll have to. I'm going to have to ask her. I'll let you know what she says.
Okay. Interesting. So I am going to put a link in the chat so that it shows up for those of you that see this either on Facebook or the YouTube. You'll have the link. If you're just listening to the audio, you can go to the show notes for Podnuts for this episode, and the link will be there. It is a link to Corey's Movember page. And as a matter of fact, Corey, I can't do it right this minute, but I think I'm going to be the first one to donate.
Oh, that's very generous. Thank you.
If they're accepting them now, because it's still October, but I will be the first to donate and get that up there and get you started.
Thank you.
So is this like any other of the things? Is there a goal that you have, or I've never, you know, I'm not going to let myself, my beard would be way too gray. So
it's just a mustache. You only have to grow the mustache.
So is there a goal that you have? Is there something that we need to kind of inspire people to, hey, go donate, help Corey get to this level?
I haven't decided on a goal just yet. Yeah, haven't decided on a goal just yet.
All right. And when is the actual big day that you shave? Is it going to be the very last day?
It's going to be today. Today is shaving day. So this is as big as the beard's going to get.
Oh, okay. Well, that doesn't make sense. I thought you'd like wear it through November and kind of.
No, I have to shave this off and then grow a mustache through November.
Oh.
Yeah, the point is to humiliate yourself with a really bad mustache through November.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So why don't you just take a picture of this, and then at the end of November, just put that up and say, hey, this is what I grew. All right. So you shave, and then we go through the month. And
Exactly.
Okay. Do you have to put up pictures like every day or every other day, every week or something like that?
I probably will. I'll probably be posting on social media every now and then with some progress pics.
All right. And
I haven't decided what kind of mustache to grow though, so I am taking votes.
Okay. Well, if I'd have known that, I would have said, why don't we plan on doing a shave live on the air? I didn't know that.
I didn't even think of that. That's not a bad idea.
So don't have time to do it now. I got to rush and go see a client. So too bad. We'll have to talk about better next year. So, all right, folks. So Corey's page, again, I'm going to put in the show notes. It's already up on the social media stuff. ca.movember.com/ and then a whole bunch of other stuff. Too bad it doesn't say Corey Fruitman there. It'd be easy, but head over there and donate. And it's going to be easy, folks. You can donate with PayPal. You can donate with a credit card. There's a lot of things you can do there. It's easy, easy, easy. All right. So, Corey, is there anything you want to leave people with in terms of Movember or ways that they can kind of battle through and figure out if they've got depression?
I mean, if you're interested in, so throughout the month of November, I am going to be blogging about depression and mental health. So keep an eye out for those blogs. You will be able to find them at instanthousecall.com on the blog tab, or you can follow me on social media and you'll see them there. So you'll be able to get some more information that way. Okay. And if you have questions, you're always welcome to email me. I'm available at Corey@instanthousecall.com. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that anybody has.
All right. So Instant House Call, the blog section, you'll be putting stuff there. That'll be great. And let's see. So the video that I played right at the beginning did talk about some things to do in terms of getting a support system and getting checked. So that talked about cancer, but also, as Corey and I have talked about, depression, mental health. That is something that, again, if you are feeling off and people are telling you, you may just want to go get checked. If you are somebody that notices somebody, as in Corey's case, somebody actually made a comment to him, and that, I believe, was helpful. So, you know, in those famous words, see something, say something type of thing, that should be done. But even as entrepreneurs, one of the things that I would like to, leave with people is that we should always, regardless of where we are, just in our everyday lives, if we're not in a depressive state, we want to make sure we've got a great support system, whether it's a peer group, a mentor, coach, or somebody that you are seeing on a regular basis who knows you and knows your mannerisms, knows your habits, knows your personality. And if they notice something off, they can talk with you about it, and you can do the same to them. Obviously, we want to do things of trying to be more grateful for the life that we have. It doesn't always have to be, go, go, go and all of that. And of course, coming up with a self-care routine, finding out what are the things that make you happy, making the time to do those, and then also making time to get and stay healthy. Those help as well. So, sound good to you, Corey?
Sounds good to me.
All right. Any last words?
Last words. Can I do a little plug for my product here?
Sure.
Okay. So throughout the month of November, anyone who signs up for Instant House Call will be donating $50 from your purchase towards the Movember cause. So if you're interested, you can get a free trial at instanthousecall.com. And again, $50 from any subscription goes towards the Movember campaign.
All right. Sounds great. So if you need a great product for remote support and you don't have one, try Instant House Call. If you do it during the month of November, you're also helping out a great cause. So thank you, Corey, so much for doing that. And that's going to do it, folks. Your quick little lunch and learn here. Again, my guest, Corey Fruitman from Instant House Call. Thank you, Corey, for hanging out.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, folks, that's going to do it for this episode of Podnuts Pro. I want to always thank you for subscribing and downloading the show. Be sure to head over to podnuts.com. Take a look at this show, other shows, go back and listen to the backlist of things. Support the affiliates that we have there. As you know, this show does not have a direct sponsor. We basically go by the affiliates that you have. You can donate there as well. If you have questions or suggestions for the show, please email marvin@podnuts.com. And for those of you that are new, Podnuts is spelled Podnutz. A little twist there. And if you want to be notified whenever these types of shows are aired live, you can find us on Twitter and the YouTube. Just simply put in Podnuts Pro and find us there. Thank you again. And that's going to do it. And until next time, holla.